Todd, Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Messer, James County Julian, Town Court. My name is Chris Rochester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor has not made an argument that I committed a crime. And I'm being convicted on paper by sociopaths and freaks at the District Attorney's Office, who will deliver me to Alex Renzi, Paul C. Messer, and John P. Lanzo Jr. in Town Court. This is the Freedom of Information Law dated this August 3rd. There are only 5 in here, so I only have so much time. But I have been on here reading 70. All 5 of these on this August 3rd. I sent you registered mail return receipt on this May 9th. And on this May 9th, nearly 3 months ago, you refused to comply with the law because you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, and you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, are corrupt. You do not know you're corrupt. To this day, 15 years later, after he resigned in disgrace, Elliot Spitzer does not know he's corrupt. You will never know you're corrupt. If Attorney General Merrick Garland picked up the phone and described in detail to you for an hour why you're corrupt, you still wouldn't know, Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley, why you're corrupt. So I'm going to say this again. You got this on May 9th. You got the criminal complaints in your office for Richard J. Seaton violently attacking me at the Penfield Public Library. You have the criminal complaints in your office for Michael Houlihan lying under oath and saying I swung a hammer at him on my back porch. Ask Michael Houlihan what he's doing hiding on the private property of my neighbor. You got the criminal complaints for his 50-year-old mother's boy named Rashad with his 7-year-old mother, falsely reporting an incident by me walking to a parking lot in Penfield, New York 5,000 times. You got a criminal complaint about my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, taking everything I own to a storage locker in Webster, New York without a court order, requires a court order. You got the criminal complaint for 80-year-old Anthony Ospano, Fairport, New York, locking doors and locking me out when I'm in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo because of Paul C. Metzer and Richard J. Seaton. None of these people are going to be arrested. None of these people are going to be prosecuted. It's not going to be one day in jail for these people because you freaks and sociopaths at the District Attorney's Office don't know how to identify a crime. So, I'm going to say this again. If I repeat things, it's because corruption requires repetition. These 5 here, you got on this May 9th. Psychopaths like the color red. So Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto hide on the private property of my neighbor. They come running at me in the middle of the night. I turn around and run away. Anything these 2 freaks say is a lie. So, I get to the back porch. I place my foot on the first 3 steps. $73,000 Michael Houlihan grabs my arm. The hammer I just grabbed next to my bike goes up. I pull away, run through the sliding glass door. That's not a crime. Now, Michael Houlihan, the $73,000 freak, and Don Benedetto, the $85,000 freak, have to come up with a lie for why they're there. I went up to the second floor. There's about 10 of these freaks outside. I ran the whole time. This took about 30 seconds. And this is on the body camera footage of Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto both, because Regina Harper, the public defender's office at 10 North 50th Street, played it for me. I never stopped running. You Benito Mussolini skinhead Todd Baxter. Do you understand me? I'm being stalked this night by your 2 freaks. And since you, Todd Baxter, are a freak too, you're perfectly comfortable around $73,000 Michael Houlihan, who lied under oath and said I swung a hammer at him. So, this is the Freedom of Information Law name. You, Michelle Crowley, Director of Grand Jury. You convene a grand jury. These 18 to 24 anonymous idiots. I don't know this grand jury's convened. You don't call me on the phone for an interview. You don't call me to the District Attorney's Office. Most important, you don't call me to the grand jury to testify. And you, Michelle Crowley, if you're the one that addressed the grand jury, I would have sat in that witness box and you could have asked me question after question after question about this night. I'm your ham sandwich, Michelle Crowley. You know exactly what I'm talking about. A distinguished American like Caspar Weinberg can be indicted by a fanatical, corrupt prosecutor like Lawrence Walsh. Anybody can be indicted. I never stop running. And anything these freaks say is a lie. And you will believe anything these freaks at the sheriff's office say. So, Freedom of Information Law, August 3rd, 2023. Christopher Chichester. cchichester@jo4gmail.com. That's where you can contact me and send me the names of my prosecutor's silence. 620 Park Avenue, PNB number 361, Rochester, New York 14604. That's where you can contact me to tell me the names of my prosecutors silence. Phone number 813-648-4441. That's where you can contact me to tell me the names of my prosecutors silence. I'm not just demanding these names so I can sit here and hate them, which I do. Because the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court is one attorney's disbarred. And I'm going to be relentless about disbarment for every one of these freaks at the District Attorney's Office. Do you understand me, what I just said if you're watching me? The freak, Sandra Doorley? Plays Mark Monahan and Perry Douglas for your boss, because I don't know who watches you. Maybe it's 0, maybe it's 2. I only care about what the Department of Justice thinks. I only care about what Trinity Ross thinks, the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York and Buffalo, and a few others like Kathy Hochul in Albany. And you freaks at that District Attorney's Office need to have a moral and act commission assembled by the governor of New York to investigate how you arrest and prosecute citizens of Monroe County, including innocent citizens, and I've been an innocent man my whole life. Information about the grand jury can be by District Attorney Sandra Doorley to Target. Christopher Chichester has 1 day, month, and year the grand jury is convened. He signed District Attorney's Office employee to address the grand jury. 3, the witnesses that testified to the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, the transcript of the grand jury proceeding. Do you, director of the grand jury, Michelle, probably understand what I just said? Because this arrived in your office on May 9th, and your corrupt boss, it's the same language I read, is right here on May 9th. Where she receives it, because this is stamped when I go to the post office. There's probably 75 little receipts in here from the post office. Over and over and over what I just read, you received, just like every one of these. There's only 5 here because I only have so much time. I wish there were 100, and there will be. I'll be back on here with 100 of these, and I'll send them to your office, registered mail, return receipt, and you'll refuse to comply with every single one. I don't have any clothes because of you freaks. I'm going to talk about something else I don't have, that I had in my residence since I was 18 years old, because this Anthony spot on my landlord locking the doors and locking me out. Do you have things in your house for 40 years that you cherish? I'm sure you do. So that's the way it's supposed to be in this life. Richard J. Seaman, I don't know this is the last time I'm leaving my residence. And I don't know that Paul C. Metz was convened Pampertown Court, this $28,000 bald-headed widow, without someone from the district attorney's office present to make an argument that I committed a crime. And I called a previous YouTube I hope to attach to this Gmail or Proton mail unconstitutional, because I believe it is unconstitutional for Paul C. Metz to convene Pampertown Court as one person when the district attorney's office is not notified. They're not notified, they're not present to make an argument that I committed a crime. And that means this hack from hell can send anybody in Pampertown, New York, a town of 36,000, to jail without a prosecutor making an argument that that defendant committed a crime. So Mark Monahan and Perry Douglas and Michelle Crowley, as you're at the district attorney's office and you are law school graduates, is that constitutional? I don't know. The law is so bizarre in New York, across the spectrum of what is considered the law. I really would not be surprised if this is legal. But what it definitely is also is immoral and unethical, and redirect defendants away from Pampertown Court, Mark Monahan and Perry Douglas, Michelle Crowley, because then you won't have innocent citizens in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court. If I was asked in elementary school, when I was 9 years old in 4th grade at Wing Street Elementary School in Long Island, by Mrs. Gail Riley, my teacher, can you go to jail if the prosecutor in a courtroom doesn't talk and make an argument that the defendant committed a crime? I believe at 9 years old, I would have said no, because elementary school children can figure out, without perhaps thinking a word, that this is extremism and hatred and fanaticism. And since you at the district attorney's office and sheriff's office are extremism, hatred, and fanaticism, and you get a thrill out of destroying lives, it's irrelevant to you. So, Seaman walks to the Penfield Public Library, Richard J. Seaman, staring at my front door. I walk down Penfield Road, I get the bad road. I walk to the Penfield Public Library, get a number, and I sit down. About 5 minutes later, Seaman and his psychopath partner walk in. Sheriff Todd Baxter, the psychopath partner for Richard J. Seaman, is a witness to a violent crime upon me, assault, for which I believe he should be in state prison. He certainly should be fired, because I believe there were witnesses at Penfield Public Library. I have not contacted the library yet. And the reason why I moved to this residence in 2012 is because my then girlfriend, Laura Riley, when we lived in Webster, is hired at the Penfield Public Library. Where I don't know, at the end of the hallway, is Penfield Town Court. Seaman runs at me, slams his arm at the side of my head. I fall down, my head is a ceramic tile. It's a violent attack and assault upon me. So I had $61.39 in my pocket. Send that money back to me. This is the price of violence. Freedom of Information Law, August 3rd, 2023. The issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester, just below, for an expired check in the amount of $61.39 from the County of Monroe Office of Sheriff and May Fund account, because that's the dollar amount in the pocket of Chichester when he's violently attacked the Penfield Public Library with $75,904, Richard J. Seaman of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This is a violent free cop. It does not matter to you, Todd Baxter. This is a violent free cop. Here's his name right here on the payroll. Richard J. Seaman. A violent free cop. And above him is $116,000 Jennifer Farina. This is $116,000 Jennifer Farina. Sheriff Todd Baxter make more money than you with the overtime, time and a half. I've been demanding that for 18 months. This is specifically precisely why it's corrupt. When the 41st hour is worked, Sheriff Todd Baxter, do you have overtime, time and a half? There's different ways to calculate pay to an employee. What's the answer, Sheriff Todd Baxter? And I'm glad you're not answering, because when I contact Controller Thomas P. DiNapoli in the Alfred E. Smith Building in Albany, New York, to demand you be audited, this is going to be one of the things in the 100 things I cite. This Shannon Meyer, Michael Houlihan, Michael Hens, perjurer, Shannon Meyer writing a warrant from arrest for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. This is why people hate the police, Todd Baxter. And I believe you have no idea why citizens hate the police. I never had any hatred for police. I'll hate the police until my final day. Freedom of Information Law on this August 3rd, 2023. The documentation of the case for Christopher Chichester with Penfield Town Court for John P. Lorenzo Jr. What is the name of the prosecutor, essentially? Is this Julie Hahn or is this not Julie Hahn? If it's not Julie Hahn, this is the payroll for the district attorney's office. And the freak that delivered me to Monroe County Jail without making an argument that I committed a crime for 2 ridiculous concocted charges is right here. What's the name of the freak? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, Assistant District Attorney Mark Monahan. This is the 5'2", 3-piece suit boy that Regina Harper at the Public Defender's Office, and you, Julie Sianka, know the answer to all these falls for the prosecutors. Sends me the prosecutor's not backing down. This coward is not backing down in total, complete silence. He stood there in Penfield Town Court before Paul C. Metzer and didn't utter one word, one sound, one syllable. What's this boy's name? Freedom of Information with documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester in Penfield Town Court for Paul C. Metzer. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. The freak is right here, and I saw a picture of him online. But that was over a year ago, and I do not recall his name. But you know his name. Tell me the name of this boy freak. Because he sent me to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, where I don't live, when he could have easily dismissed my charges. Just like the prosecutor for John P. Lorenzo Jr. could have easily dismissed my charges by saying, I'm not going to talk in court because I can't make an argument that this citizen committed a crime, so I will move to dismiss these charges. And that's what ethical, honest, decent, moral prosecutors do. And you don't have ethical, moral, honest, decent prosecutors because you're psychopaths. Psychopathy is what you are. So, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, who elevated me to this $208,000 70-year-old hacking fossil who should be in a help I fall and I can't get up commercial, just like Paul C. Metzer and James Finley Jr. and John P. Lorenzo Jr. Who is it? I would be in Albany, New York right now if it wasn't for this freak. So, freedom of information on documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. The freak is right here. Who's the freak that forced me into Alex Renzi? And you know the name District Attorney Sandra Doorley, and you know the name Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, and you know the name Assistant District Attorney Mark Monahan, and so do you Public Defender Julie Sianka. And when I contact Spring Lamar at the Monroe County Legislature and every Monroe County legislator, I'm going to tell these legislators that you're refusing to disclose this information to me for, I think, $140,000. And you $87,000 Mark Phillips Know the answer. Certainly thrilling you, right, Mark? I hope you know I once had respect and admiration for you when it evaporated because of this question that I've been asking right here. What are the names of my prosecutors? So, that's it. This is the Freedom of Information Law that has been communicated to you. And these are the criminal complaints here that you already have this in your office. The registered mail return receipt arrived here. These came back to me. Cards. Now, one of these people is going to be arrested, charged, prosecuted. This is fanaticism. When I use these names on here, this is fanaticism. And since your fanaticism at the district attorney's office shack and the sheriff's office shack, you cannot recognize yourselves. So, Supreme Court of State of New York County, Monroe, the clerk sent me this, Jamie Marrero, said this is the document that you fill out for a criminal complaint. And I had this notarized at the Monroe branch of the Rochester Public Library by Christopher M. Price. He's the notary public there. I'm sure you know that's on Monroe Avenue. So, Supreme Court, State of New York County, Monroe. To Supreme Court, State of New York, the complaint of plaintiff Christopher Chises respectfully shows and alleges as follows. This is what brings me to attention to the sheriff's office. They Raj and Layla Kumar Shah, 2033 Penfield Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. False reporting an incident of Christopher Chises, formerly 26 Sands from Drive, and is walking through the parking lot next to his residence. Freaks and sociopaths, you understand, walk through his parking next to my residence, just like my excellent friend Adam did. The elderly woman across the street from me. Penfield High School students in their red athletic apparel walk through his parking lot. All day long, beginning at 7 a.m. until midnight, people walk through his parking lot. So here's the notary public, Christopher M. Price, July 21st. So this is in your office for 10 days. It should be. And here's the parking lot right here. This is not a crime to walk through this parking lot. And if you can see, two of my neighbors are right up here. So I came back from my run, bike ride. I had my camera in my backpack. I took my camera and I took this picture of my two neighbors walking here. You can't see it, I don't think, but this color photo, when it's in your office, is right in front of you. You can see them right up here. My neighbors walk through this parking lot. Penfield High School students in red athletic apparel walk through this parking lot. My excellent friend Adam walks through this parking lot, and his mother and father. The elderly woman across the street walks through this parking lot all day long. If this is not what I believe is false reporting incident to be the correct legal term, then that law shouldn't even exist. Do you understand what I'm saying, freaks and sociopaths? I don't know if I can talk about it now, about policy Metzer writing these orders of protection. I get out of Livingston County Jail. I'll just talk about it briefly because I could go on for 30 minutes about this insanity. This is an insane mother and son. So I get out of Livingston County Jail in handcuffs, and there's this vile, sickening hack, Paul C. Metz, with these orders of protection. I make handcuffs. I had to sign them. For Layla Kumar Nairaj Shah. So I'm at the YMCA, and I'm on a rowing machine. And I look at the speed bag, which I go every day. I'm at the YMCA to hit because I taught myself to use speed bags. And I'm a boxing fan my whole life. And standing next to the speed bag is this disgusting Layla Kumar Shah. And I'm thinking as I'm on the rowing machine, just walk out of here and leave me alone. If you walk by me, just leave me alone. I'm saying to myself over and over and over. Because I learned through mental exercises when I'm around psychopaths. She's a psychopath. And she begins to walk toward me, and I'm on the rowing machine, and I'm saying, leave me alone over and over. And she stops in front of me, points oddly to something next to me. I say, what's my name? You know my name. And she walks up to a YMCA employee, this lady, Kumar Shah, who is right next to the park line I just showed you. And she says he doesn't belong to YMCA. And then she goes up to, after she tells us this employee, he says, I don't know what he's talking about. And she leaves. The next day, I go into the YMCA, and the employee at the front desk says, Mike wants to talk to you, and this is Michael Avery. And then I had to talk to Michael Avery for an hour about what's happening to me, about the destruction of my life because of the parking lot, and then $67,000 cop freak Shannon Meyer. And he said, you're welcome to come to the YMCA anytime you want. So, Michael Houlihan and Don Benedetto, when they're on this private property, come running at me and ran away the whole time. Anything they say is a lie because these are cop freaks. Michael Houlihan's involved with death. When you were told about Michael Houlihan and death, Sheriff Todd Baxter, were you surprised or not surprised? I'm looking at my notes here. I don't think I'm going to talk about that now because of what he did and what he's involved with. This is a psychopath cop. And since you, Todd Baxter, are a psychopath cop, you're perfectly comfortable with this freak being around you. So, Supreme Court stating on County Monroe. That's my handwriting there. Now, this is the Notary Public, Christopher M. Price here. And here's the language that I just showed and read. Michael Lynn and Don Benedetto right here. This is why people hate the police. Text, criminal complaint for perjury for 73212 Michael C. Lynn, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Quote, that 73312 Michael C. Lynn, Monroe County Sheriff's Office walked onto private property crossing the Reds 26 Sands from Drive in Pemberton, New York, Christopher Chichester, that Houlihan ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 Don Benedetto Sheriff's Office. That Chichester ran away from Houlihan and Benedetto unaware of the identities. That Chichester grabbed a hammer alongside the residence next to his bike, used his tire. That as Chichester placed his foot on the first of 3 steps on the back porch, Houlihan grabbed his arm. The hammer in Chichester's hands forced upwards, and Chichester ran across his back porch through the sliding glass door. And as Chichester never stopped running, it is impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. What's not to understand, freaks and sociopaths? When you convene this grand jury, Michelle Crowley, why didn't you call me to testify in the grand jury? Because this is how I'm indicted. Michael Houlihan lied before this grand jury, Mike. This is why Michael Houlihan's a perjurer. And this is on the body camera footage too. Did you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, and Director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, see the body camera footage of this 30-second incident when I ran away the whole time? I don't give a fuck that they're saying stop or any commands because I can hear language, but I don't really know what it is. And in 30 seconds of time at midnight, anything can happen. I ran away the whole time. The only thing that didn't happen is I didn't swing a hammer at this freak cop who's a perjurer. And I told you this on January 26th, Todd Baxter, because here it is right here. I told you about Richard Seaman and Michael Houlihan on this January 26th. Since this day, I sent this to you repeatedly. FedEx, UPS, registered mail return receipt, where you could look at it here, where it says perjurer, 73312 Michael Houlihan in Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Well, you could look at it, and it says violence. Sheriff Todd Baxter, 75904, Richard J. Seaman. You got violent freaks and perjurers at that Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And that's completely irrelevant to you, Todd Baxter, as you exist in 1984. So, this is Richard Seaman. Seaman, this is in your office. This is the criminal complaint. Walked into Pemberton. This is the exact language on the complaint. That Richard J. Seaman of Monroe County Sheriff's Office walked into Pemberton Public Library in Pemberton, New York, ran at Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm into the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards in his head on the ceramic tile floor. This is Notary Public, Christopher M. Price. He should be in state prison. The force by which his arm hit me in the head, the violence of Richard J. Seaman's arm hitting me in the head and causing me to fall backwards, and then my head hits the ceramic tile. If this is not violent felony assault, then the law needs to be rewritten by state legislators in Albany. And he has not been fired because I saw him for double jeopardy on Pemberton Road. Because you arrested me twice for the fiction and the fantasy land that occupies Michael Houlihan's head. You got the violent freak, Richard J. Seaman. You got the perjurer freak, Michael C. Houlihan. You love freaks, Todd Baxter, because you're a freak. So Anthony Nospano, I want to get to, like I said, my residence, the door's locked. Requires a court order to lock the door, even with a tenant without a lease. For 5 years in Albany, New York, without a lease. I know more about a psychopath landlord I should have been. Other than 5 years in Washington, D.C. without a lease, I didn't worry about a psychopath landlord I should have. Court order to lock the tenant out. Anthony Nospano doesn't have one. Court order to move everything out of a residence. My ex-girlfriend took everything to a storage locker. I couldn't pay for it. It's been cleaned out. Everything's gone, including my dress screens from 17 Cabinet 101st Avenue Division. This old man went up. He arrested, charged, prosecuted. Nothing's going to happen to him. 80 years old is going to protect him. His broken English is going to protect him. I don't know is going to protect him. When he says, I don't know, this is a crime, that's going to protect him. This is why you're freaks and sociopaths. Every single one of these is a crime. You're concocting crimes for me, and then you're ignoring real, genuine crimes. So, Christopher Chichester, the complainant of the plaintiff, Christopher Chichester, respectfully shows and alleges as follows. Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the front and back doors of the residence for 7 years, 26 Sandra Drive in Pemberton, New York, without a court order. What's not to understand, freaks and sociopaths, the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office? Write the warrant if I have that language correctly and arrest him. Let him go through the same process I've been through. I slept in Harriswell Park for 3 weeks. There were benches next to the baseball field. And when I would hear a noise at midnight, I'd be up on this bench next to the baseball field thinking, where is that? People walk through this park at night. And when it would rain, I'd have to go and sleep underneath the trucks at Target. And one time, the trucks pulled up to unload. I ran away from Target. I was constantly moving around at night for this 3-week period when the rain is coming down on me frequently. Because of this old man who hates human beings, just like you do with the attorney's office, sheriff's office. So my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, I was telling her, who I've known for 35 years, and we lived in 3 different residences, just tell me what happened, Laura. Everything is gone because of her. Every single thing I own is gone. It takes court order to do what she did to me. She has no court order. She has nothing. Over and over and over on YouTube, this TikTok app I use on Gmail. In your office, the Gmail I sent to her saying, tell me what happened, with bullet point questions. It's a crime to move anything out of my residence. My ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, Webster, New York, committed this crime. Arrest her. Charge her. And I'm not saying this with any vengeance, because perhaps then I'll get some answers about what happened. I own nothing and have nothing because of her. That's why I'm saying arrest her and charge her. I'm going to talk about something momentarily that I don't have, that I have since I was 18 years old because of her. Complainant Christopher Child's test respectfully shows and as follows. Laura Riley, Webster, New York, transported the personal belongings of Christopher Child's test for 26 Sandra Drive, Path, New York, to storage locker in Webster, New York, without a court order. So here is Christopher M. Price, July 21, 2023. No Republic, State of New York, and then his number is qualified tomorrow. Commission expires June 29, 2027. And that's my signature for that criminal complaint. So I'm back to the first one. When I don't have because of her. When I go to the post office on South Linton Road. They're so terrific there. And I walked in one time and there was a display with the Purple Heart. And I looked at this, I said, can you give me a couple packs of these Purple Heart stamps? So my Uncle Lou is a veteran of World War II when he was in the South Pacific, and my Uncle Lou lost his leg. He was 18 years old in 1943, and he was in the South Pacific for 18 months, and he lost his leg. And my Uncle Lou was a true hero, Purple Heart recipient, wounded in battle multiple times. So he's in Detroit. And when he would come visit our house on Long Island, my Uncle Lou had a wooden leg. And he would let me, when I was in elementary school, hit his wooden leg. And he had a mindset that was unconquerable. It don't matter to him that had this wooden leg that eventually would give him back problems because how heavy it was. So my Uncle Lou, our bodies think about him when I'm at the post office. So when I was 18 years old, I'm at SUNY Fredonia at the end of freshman year to spring break, and I don't really know what to do, and I don't want to go from SUNY Fredonia to take the bus all the way to Long Island. So I talked to my uncle, and I don't know if I asked him or he said it was all right, but I went to see my uncle on spring break, SUNY Fredonia in 1984, right in the middle, the heart of the presidential campaign, where Gary Hart's breathing down the neck of Walter Mondale. Because I remember reading the Newsweek at the time on the bus. So I went to see my uncle in the spring of 1984 when I was 18 years old. And there I am for spring break. I think I was there for 5 or 6 days because my Aunt Teresa was in St. Louis. And Uncle's loving and nephews for any number of reasons, because I've said previously, Uncle lets you do and get away with things your father will never let you do and get away with. So I bought this shirt that said Detroit on it. It was a blue shirt, and it said white lettering, Detroit. I've had this since I was 18 years old. I had the shirt. I would wear it when I would go for runs or I'd go to the gym. That would say Detroit. And occasionally where I would be, someone would say, you from Detroit? And I would say no. And I would say, my uncle is. I got this in Detroit. I don't have my shirt that I had since 1984 that said Detroit on it, that I bought. Went to see my Uncle Lou, the Purple Heart recipient, because of Antonio Spano in Fairport, New York, locking the doors and locking me out without a court order. And because of Laura Riley taking everything out into a storage locker, which included the shirt that said Detroit on it. This is hatred and fanaticism. Your hatred and fanaticism, you never know it. Hatred and fanaticism. It's coming to the house to demand assistance dog. These freaks, Neeraj Shah and Layla Kumar Shah, hate the human condition. Just like you freaks at the sheriff's office, at the district attorney's office. I was able to adopt my little guy with my then girlfriend Laura Riley. We went to Lollipop Farm Humane Society in 2012 when I was 47 years old. And one of the questions we were asked is, have you ever been arrested? And Laura and I both replied, no. I've walked my dog 4,000 times on land behind where I used to live at 26 Sandra Road Drive in Penfield. One day the back window flies open. A woman is screaming at me. I don't know why she's screaming at me. I walk through that parking lot to go speak to these freaks. Let them come on, Neeraj Shah, 50-year-old man lives with a 7-year-old mother. They refused to talk to me. An hour later, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is out my front door demanding my dog. This Todd Baxter again is why people hate the police. I say you have to kill me to take my little guy. Nothing special because you love your dogs. That's the way it's supposed to be. So let me come on, come to my man, the cops confiscate my dog. And this is the parking lot right here. This is the entrance to it all day long. This is what people, this is Sanders Farm Drive. This is what people enter the parking lot all day long and walk through. This is why it's falsely reporting an incident. Here's the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. Your freaks would drive over there and just, what's he doing here? He's doing it because I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive. That's what he's doing there. Freaks. Freaks underwater in a pool. The freak sheriff of Monroe County. That's your camera right there. It's not the high resolution color photo, but this is what I was on. How many times do I have to say this to you? Over and over and over, 18 plus months, 2 years, 3 months, 18 plus months, 2 years, 3 years, however long it is. It's just private technology at 2025 Penfield Road for a business called Consumer Insights, where Elliot Roth is the president. You buy it and fix it for me. Public defenders show me the images. What would you say to an employee of the United States Department of Justice, Todd Baxter, about this? That you're just not going to answer. The hypocrisy of you is really absolutely, completely nauseating because you, Todd Baxter, demand answers from your employees every single day. And I'm demanding answers of you as you smash my life into a million little pieces with this fucking camera that is a surveillance device, and you're lying about it being a surveillance device because Lindsey Barron of the Monroe County Office of Mental Health came to my residence with a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee when I've been using that phrase, which is the accurate phrase because there is no other phrase for it. I have to go to the Goodwill to buy clothes. I'm thinking about you disgusting sick hack, Sheriff Todd Baxter. I have to go to the Goodwill to buy clothes. I'm thinking about you disgusting sick hack, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. When I have to go to the Goodwill to buy clothes, I'm thinking about you disgusting sick hack, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. When I have to go to Goodwill to buy clothes, I'm thinking about you disgusting sick hacks, Paul C. Metz and James Ryan Jr. in Penfield Court. So this is filled out. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. This says Sandra Doorley here. I'm going to update the Freedom of Information. I'm going to send you this YouTube where when I put it into Gmail, I'll also write to you in the body of the Gmail in the language I will write later tonight. It's going to say to disclose the names of my prosecutors. You're going to open this right here where your name is right here, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Where the foil is going to say that I just read to disclose the names of my prosecutors. And you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, are going to look at that and refuse. And this is why you're corrupt. And this is why you're a psychopath. Psychopathy definition. Psychopathy is a neuropsychiatric disorder marked by deficient emotional responses, lack of empathy, and poor behavioral controls, commonly resulting in persistent antisocial deviance and criminal behavior. Antisocial deviance. You are antisocial deviance at that Shack District Attorney's Office at 47 South Fitzhugh, and you are antisocial deviance at 130 South Plymouth Avenue at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and you will never know it. So, reason why you're antisocial deviant, Sandra Doorley, is you have to form a conviction integrity unit. What does this thing do? You have to have a bureaucracy that you formed in the district attorney's office that's a conviction integrity unit. And why? Because, Sandra Doorley, corrupt. On this December 16, 2022, the documentation signed by District Attorney Sandra Doorley to create a conviction integrity unit within the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. How many district attorneys in the 62 counties of the state of New York have to have a bureaucracy created to police the district attorney? I believe it's only you, you freak, Sandra Doorley. So, Sandra Doorley, what does this conviction integrity unit do?
District Attorney Sandra Doorley, my name is Chris Chichester. I've never committed a crime. Why did you create within your office a separate bureaucracy called a conviction integrity unit? I believe I know the answer or an answer. And I'm going to tell you what I believe it is, but I'm going to contact you in writing about why you created this conviction integrity unit. I believe it's because innocent citizens are sentenced to jail. And a way innocent citizens are sentenced to jail is when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court and a judge has predetermined or pre-decided before a defendant even makes an appearance in court that defendant is guilty. And that's happened to me with John P. Lomenzo Jr. and Paul C. Metzer from Penfield Town Court, and former employee of the District Attorney's Office, Alex Renzi, in New York State Supreme Court. So District Attorney Sandra Doorley, I believe you created a conviction integrity unit because you know innocent citizens are sentenced to jail by fanatical, corrupt judges. But what's your answer? I will contact you with a series of questions via registered mail return receipt for why you created this unit. I read the language on your website, claims of innocence. I don't have a claim of innocence. I am innocent. And there are facts and circumstances I will detail to it. I already have multiple times registered mail return receipt to your office. I'm on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, type my name, and everything's on there 84 times on why I'm an innocent man. And it's irrelevant to you. Because in the Jonestown that is your Monroe County District Attorney's Office, you are a cliched rubber stamp for whatever Todd Baxter does. There's no such thing as an innocent citizen in the District Attorney's Office. If Sheriff Todd Baxter's fanatics, judges, sociopaths, arrested an innocent citizen, you will prosecute that innocent citizen, and innocence is totally irrelevant to you. So on your Monroe County District Attorney's website, Madam District Attorney, there is language about this conviction integrity unit. And what does it do? Does it exonerate citizens? Do you say or declare to a citizen, your rights have been violated and you should not have been prosecuted? And we concur that your rights have been violated, you should not have been prosecuted. Is that what you do? If there's a conviction integrity unit where you're demanding or evaluating the integrity of a conviction, then you should exonerate citizens. And I'm such a citizen. So I'm going to contact you with the Freedom of Information Law about what your conviction integrity unit does with 50 plus questions. And what I'm going to hear from you about your own conviction integrity unit, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, is total silence.
My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole life.